Hey y'all, Bloodwing here, back to bring some grumpiness to your internet. Welcome back to Redneck Radio, the live stream where you get an extra healthy side helping. Let's see, what can I come up with today?
Mm.
Extra healthy side helping of sauerkraut and smoked sausage because I like that. A lot of people might not like that, but I like that.
I was hoping for a bowl of stew today.
Well, bowl stew, that's good too. We can make it a twofer. You
Oh,
got
okay.
your choice.
Oh, the Bloodwing buffet.
That's right.
I like
You go
it.
home now. You eat too much. I've got a nephew that honestly was told that at a Chinese buffet one time. He seriously was. He's like, you
Oh,
go
wow.
home now.
You can put it away by the sounds of it.
He wears, I think it's a size 17 shoes. So yeah,
Oof,
yeah,
as it were.
he's a pretty big feller.
Mm.
So anyway, as you all can tell, with me is Irate Bear. How you doing, Bear?
Not too bad, mate. Not too bad. How are you?
Tired, a little bit tired. Hey, Mahalo Manning, baby, how you doing? Um,
Hey.
I I'm editing on the next episode of Redneck Trek right now. As many of you that have Twitter probably know, you may have seen the tweet. But I had these bright ideas, bright, he says with air quotes, that I
Ding.
wanted to try, and they sounded like a good idea at the time, but they're turning out to be a real monster to implement. But I'm not giving up. I'm gonna do it. I'll figure it out. But
What is it you're trying to do?
oh, there's several things. Several things. I did finally, just before I had to give up. I mean, to the last minute. I showed up on Twitter like the last minute. Uh,
Mm.
I, I was figuring out. I wanted a running counter of something that was going on. Keeping track of it.
Yeah.
And I was using, the text overlays, and I was trying to figure out how to make that happen. And if you just split it on Vegas, I thought, well, okay, I can split that, and then the second one over here, I'll just change the number on it, and that'll look like the number changes. No, it changes both of them. You split, so you got to actually copy it and paste in a new one to
Yeah.
get it
Yeah.
to change numbers. I'm like, oh, for pity's sake.
Yeah. It does that, by the way.
So I got that figured out. But the next part, and I kind of mentioned it the last time. Uh, Mom Minnie says working double today so I can have Friday off for a funeral. What funeral, baby? Anybody I know? Sorry to hear that.
Mm.
Um, uh, anyway, I think I might have mentioned it the last time. The program that I used to record it messed up, and I didn't know it until
Yeah.
after I went back and looked at it, and so I had to actually re-record that part. Fortunately, the game does allow you to replay certain missions,
Mm.
and but I'm trying to incorporate that into the video. It breaking.
Yeah.
And I've got this idea, and I don't want to give away too much because it'll kind of
Oh, yeah. 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 Yeah.
spoil the joke. But uh, that one's going to be a tough one to figure out because I'm going to have to use overlays and all this other stuff that I've never used before.
Well, if you need a hand, mate, we can certainly go through it after the stream if you want.
Yeah. Uh, Boyfriend lost his best friend Wednesday, his battle buddy in the arm. Oh my gosh. Tell Ryan I'm so sorry for his loss.
Mm.
I'm sorry.
Please pass on my condolences. That's pretty bad.
Yeah, because I know, I've never been in the military. I did try, but they wouldn't take me. But I know that your battle buddies, you get pretty close, as you need to be, because that's the guy that watches your back.
Yeah.
But yeah, sorry to hear that, sweetheart.
Mm.
But yeah, I mean, other than that, I was scripting most all day yesterday, and then voice recording at night. Kind of sucks because talked about it before. I have to wait until my wife goes to work, and then I wait a little longer till it gets dark so that there'll be less street noise out here,
Yeah.
while I'm trying to record. And
Well, you can cut a fair amount of that out in Audacity.
yeah, and I have. I think it was a couple of weeks ago. I tried to record, and I said, the sun's not down yet. I'm going to try it anyway. And this stupid moped with no muffler on it started going around the block, around and around and around and around.
Oh, mate, I've been
Just
there.
as I'd start to talk, he'd come roaring by. And,
Mate, I had that a couple of weeks ago. I sat down, in my office, ready to record, open up Audacity, get in position, do my little voice exercises, and start talking, and then and I was like, okay, I'll stop for a second. And then it went quiet. I was like, okay. And I started speaking, said a couple of sentences, and then he went round again.
yeah.
I was like, this mother.
See, it's really bad here because the wall right behind my head is the side wall that, I live on a corner that faces the side street.
Mm-hmm.
And I am only about 12 feet from the edge of the road, my house.
Yeah, so, we're in a very similar situation, mate. Don't forget that my office is a brick, a very, very hollowish. Well, obviously it's hollow because I'm sat in it, but it's a brick shed, effectively, that picks up all the noise from outside, and just run a couple of feet. Walk. I've got a door here, back door. You step out the door. You walk a few feet, 5-6 feet. Open a gate, and then there's a service area, a bit of road, car sort of for car parking, and then it's a road, and then across the road is probably about, I don't know, a few rows of houses, and then behind that is a train track.
Right.
Yeah.
Real quick, sorry, Cryptic, I missed the first one for some reason. For the Streamlabs donation, you buy now, you go home. Probably posted that a while ago, and then thank you for the super chat. Sorry, old man, that was me on the moped. Yeah, well, if I knew that for sure, I'd throw a broom through your spokes. And don't think I wouldn't. But yeah, we get a lot of noise. I mean, this is a redneck ghetto after all, and we rednecks like our hot rods.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's a lot of loud vehicles around here. I don't think anyone around here believes in a muffler.
Yeah, we get you get a lot of these chavies driving around in their polos and golfs, and the little dickheads, what they do is they drill holes in the exhaust pipe.
Yeah.
To make it sound meatier.
Yeah. Well, I know those can sound pretty loud, but there's nothing like good old American muscle with no with no muffler on it for loud.
Oh, I bet.
And it's not just the cars, all the motorcycles too. Of course, there's a lot of Harleys in this neighborhood.
There's this dick on my estate. It's just one guy, Bloodwing, just one man. Just one man.
One man.
And he has like a dirt bike styled bike.
Mm-hmm.
And he what he does is he likes to drive around the estate on it. And because there aren't like a lot of speed bumps, but it doesn't matter anyway, because the speed bumps that are on this road, there's only a few of them by the school, and they're not like stretched across the entire road. They've got gaps in them, so he can just drive through them and just keep going as fast as he likes.
Yeah.
And yes, there are muscle cars in the UK. There are absolutely muscle cars. There's a guy somewhere around these parts who owns a proper American Mustang, left side drive, everything, big red thing it is.
There you go. Yeah.
Tell you what, I heard that thing before I saw it.
Oh, I bet you.
Beautiful car.
And don't get me wrong. I mean, I love the sound of a good throaty V8. Just like anybody else, like any other redneck, but not when I'm trying to record.
Yeah. I feels you.
But of course, this is the same neighborhood, Bear. I'm not joking. Even up to last night, they're still shooting off fireworks.
Really?
I'm not joking.
It's nearly bloody August.
Yep. Yeah, they don't care. They always buy way too much, and so they're trying to use it up.
Well, all
So
right.
every night they're out there until until they run out.
Well, I that's their right, I suppose. As Americans.
It is. But dadgum, man, something's loud.
Mm.
I mean, really loud. I'm like, what the heck was that? I'll be sitting here in my chair almost half asleep, you know.
You give an old man a heart attack.
Yeah. Can we talk for a minute? Just before we get all off. Do I live near Chinatown? No. I don't think there's a Chinatown in Indianapolis. I don't think so. There's certainly black neighborhoods and there's Hispanic neighborhoods, but I don't think there's a Chinatown. And there are neighborhoods of people from like India and Pakistan and that sort of thing from the subcontinent. But I don't think there's a Chinatown. But anyway, can we talk about for just a minute, and I've groused about this before and I probably will again, phone sales.
Okay. Well, you mean like cold calls?
People, you probably get them there, but here we get a lot of automated phone calls that are and you pick up. And usually it says, you know, if you want to speak to a specialist now, press 1. If you want removed from our call list, press 2 or something like that.
Well, they give you an option over there.
Yeah, they have to. That's the legality of it. They have to give you an opt out on remove them from the call list.
Just press 2 every time. Just keep spamming 2.
Well, that's what I do. Unfortunately, I have to answer the calls even though I don't recognize the number because, you know, I don't know when it might be a call about dad or something like that. So I have to answer them. So yesterday I'm sitting here scripting, you know, and my eyeballs are crossing at that point anyway. And I'm trying to think hard, you know, what's good. And it's not always easy to come up with every line funny. You know, it's not an easy thing all the time. You know that. And so I'm concentrating on trying to be funny. And my phone rings and I pick it up and it's a way out of state phone number. Oh, crap. This is a sales call. I knew it was, but I had to answer it. Sure enough, I pick it up and it's an automated voice. We've been trying to contact you about your credit cards. We can save you money. And the thing is, I don't have any credit cards. You know, I don't have any. I have debit cards that you can use as credit cards, but that's different. I don't have any credit cards. And so I wait for the prompt to press 2 and I press 2. Well, 2 didn't do what it usually does. It took me immediately to an operator.
Oh, no.
Operator picks up and says, "Hi, my name is Bob." Oh, no, not one of these.
Hello and welcoming to my phone company.
Exactly. I mean, it was just like that. But he says, "Hi, thank you for holding." And I'm like, dude, you know, I've done that kind of work before, so I know how hard it is.
Oh, yeah.
And so I try to be kind to start off with. And I'm like, you know, I'm sorry. I tried to push 2 to get removed from the call list. So, you know, can you just put me on the no call list? And because I'm really not interested. And then he comes back, "Sir, do you really know what this call is about?" And already my back is up. I'm like,
oh, no.
Are you saying I'm stupid? I'm thinking that I don't know, but I still try to maintain my cool. I'm like, yes, I know what it's about. I don't even have any credit cards. Okay, I'm not interested. And he comes back with, "Are you sure you don't have any credit cards? Because it says here that you do." And I'm like,
I hate that tactic.
Oh, I lost it. I said, "Dude, do you think I'm so stupid that I don't know if I've got credit cards? And I don't know what you're looking at, but it's wrong. Just take me off the freaking call list, all right?" And I was even nicer than I wanted to because I almost come back with, "Listen here, Habib." But I didn't.
Listen here, Muhammad.
But I yelled at him for about 10 seconds and he hung the phone up. Like, dude, serious. I try to be nice to you, but don't give me the hard sell. Just do what I'm asking you to do. Okay.
Hello, you're speaking to Bob.
My wife was looking at me like, what's going on? Because I'm over here yelling and
and to answer Mr. Monopoly, the reason why a lot of companies outsource to like India and Pakistan is because they're cheaper.
Yeah,
that's simply it. Yeah, it's a lot cheaper for them to put a bunch of Indians and Pakistanis to work on the phone who, you know, are going to be a lot more committed to the role than Westerners probably would be. Because I've worked as a cold caller before. I've done it a few times.
Yeah.
You know, and it's not a nice job.
No, it's not. And you get a lot of grief.
Yeah, you do.
You do get a lot of grief. And like I said, just so I understand that. And I try to be kind. I know they're just people trying to do a job. But dadgummit, don't hard sell me. If I say no, I mean no.
No means no. Stop raping me with your sales pitch.
Yeah. They do it because it's cheaper, but it's almost funny because over here in America, the vast majority of our calls are those Indian calls or Pakistan or whatever it is. And that is one of the hardest accents for us to understand. It's just really difficult for an American, most of us, to understand a thick Indian accent. It's like, what the heck do you say?
Over here in the UK, we have a lot of call centers. A lot of call centers. Don't get me wrong; you can still live in the UK and still end up with being put through to, you know, or being cold called by an Indian call center, or you know, or if you want tech support, you 9 times out of 10, especially if you go with Dell, you're going through to some poor bastard in India who has a who's sweating to death in a office with no AC and a computer, an RM computer that has Windows 95 on it, you know. But in the UK, call centers are really, really big here. And you won't really find like Pakistani and Indian people working in them. In fact, the highest concentration of call centers in the UK are in 2 different places. One in Newcastle. So you know Batman's accent. Yeah, that, and Wales, right? And I think you would have trouble with both of those accents.
Probably.
And one of the reasons why there are so many call centers in those 2 places, and I know this to be completely true of Newcastle, is because the Geordie accent, what the Batman has whenever he turns up, is considered to be the most friendly accent in the UK. Even though, and I know you struggle to understand it, I imagine
I have a double whammy. Not only is it hard to understand that thick accent to begin with, but I don't hear well, as you can probably tell because I talk loud, and that just exacerbates it. That just makes it worse, you know. Like what?
Yeah, and there's loads of them in Cardiff. I imagine there's a lot of them in Cardiff, probably because it's cheaper to kind of have them in Cardiff. Also the accent is, well, it's not that it's friendly, it's just that it's pleasant, you know.
Mr. Monopoly of Gulf City says he got a telecommunications company stop calling him by saying, if you call again, I will call ICE. I think I mentioned it on this channel before. I got one to quit calling me because I threatened to turn them in to the FTC, which is the government body here in the U.S. that oversees that, the Federal Trade Commission. And I wasn't just joking because I immediately went to the FTC website and reported them right after. But that guy was really nasty. He was trying to collect on a bill that wasn't even mine. It was J Kid's. But since this was the last known address and phone number he had, he kept calling him. Where you're allowed to do that, but in the States, you're allowed to only call once. If the individual says, hey, they no longer live here, you're not allowed to bother him anymore. And he just kept calling. And I would pick up the call because he would spoof a phone number. He'd make it look like it was a different phone number that was calling. he even called my parents once and spoofed it as my phone number.
Scumbag.
But when it finally broke down, I said, I've had it, is when he said, well, you did a bad job of raising your son.
Oh,
I said, what's your name? I want to make sure to get this right when I report you to the FTC. I want to spell it correctly.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Dick.
Never got a call from him again.
Good.
Yeah, but I just wanted to bring that up because it bugged me. Gosh, I was mad.
Yeah, I would have
for
been.
Just a few seconds there, I was really mad.
Well, I know you don't curse, but I tell you what, if they had said that to me, they would have got all the swear words at them.
Oh, I mean, it seriously was all I could do, because immediately in my brain popped in, okay, Habib. But I had to overcome that and not let it get out my mouth, because that's racist. Like, geez, and let me reiterate, I've said this already and I'll say it again. I've done this kind of work. I understand you're just trying to do a job. I get all that. But when somebody says no, take the no, because you're just going to make them mad if you keep going.
Yeah. I mean, the last call center I worked in, I lasted 5 days. 5 days is all I lasted. And I was expected to make 200 phone calls a day, calling up businesses to try to sell them a business mobile phone package that would make it cheaper for them to have, basically. And so I'm calling up sole traders and limited companies and stuff like that. And the bigger companies and stuff, like, it's really hard to get past the gatekeeper, the receptionist and stuff. Really difficult.
When I done it, I was selling ad space to businesses, to a magazine. So yeah, I know.
Yeah. So what I tried to do is focus more on sole traders, right? Because I was like, oh, sole traders will want a better deal. Like, it's very, very hard to make it on your own, and no matter what the business is, really, because all the responsibilities on you. I remember one phone call I had. It must have been on the Wednesday of that week, right? 3 days in, and I called him up. And I read off the little spiel, and he didn't even let me finish it. He just went off on one, and he was swearing at me, he's calling me every name under the sun. And it's like, mate, if you spoke to me like this in real life, I'd bite your face. I'd sink my teeth into your fucking face, you ugly cunt. I was sat there, right, and I was like, don't do it, don't gob off. Don't start swearing at him. And sometimes people say to force a smile to kind of get you out of a bad mood.
Right.
I was sat there with just grinning, but it looked like a really painful grin. Like, it must have. I could see the reflection of myself in the mirror, not in the mirror, the reflection on the monitor.
I have kind of a skill. I guess you would call it a skill. They tell you to smile on the phone because people can hear it, and I guess there's some truth to that. But I have the ability to be able to sit there and talk to you on the phone, and then while you're talking, I'm flipping you off and making faces at you on the phone, and you can't tell. I used to do it all the time at the limo company. It's like, yeah. Oh shoot! One time at the limo company, I fell asleep on one poor woman. I kid you not. She was going on and on and on. I drifted off. And she never caught on.
Oh, bless her. Silly.
I'm like, oh my God. Oops. Mr. Monopoly, yes. I assume that's the kind of calls we get. He says, do you get the calls that say press 1 for English, press 2 for Spanish? Because we'll get the press 1 for English, and then they'll say something in Spanish, and I don't speak Spanish. I couldn't tell you. And yes, I will take some of that sausage gumbo. Absolutely. I'm kind of hungry, Necrosol. Absolutely. But
I feel bad for people that do that kind of stuff. Like,
I do too.
If you can do it, if you've got the gift of the gab, like, and you have the thickest of skins,
yeah.
Like, I think that you need to have a thicker skin for cold calling than what you need to have as, like, an internet streamer.
I've got the gift of gab.
Hmm.
Obviously I'm a streamer.
Yeah.
and I sold cars, but I don't always have well, I've got a thick skin, but I just can't tolerate and Stargazer. Shh, don't tell all my secrets. Said he's making faces at us now. You found me out. Shh. But the call that I made that made me decide to quit that
Sorry,
job.
mate. Hold on a second.
Okay. How y'all doing? Oh, got real quick. Thank you, Cryptic, for the Streamlabs donation. Press 3 for Redneck. There you go. Yeah. There you go. No, I'm not making faces at you now. It's not to say that I haven't on live streams before. Maybe not mine, but I've been on live streams where I've sat behind the mic quietly making faces at whoever was talking. Sure, I have. Yeah, I'm not good at cold calling. I don't like it. I don't like anything that involves the hard sell. I would never use a hard sell when I sold cars, and my customers appreciated that. They used to try to get me to hard upsell when I worked for the limo company, and I told them I'm not going to do it. I'm going to tell you right now, I'm not doing it. If they wanted that, they'd call here asking for it. I'm not going to do it. Just if you just well write me up right now, because I am not going to do that. And I didn't. Maybe that's why my boss was afraid of me. I don't know.
I'm back.
But the reason, as I started to say before you had to jump away, get out of here, pop up. The call that I had that made me decide to quit that job, I called a business. It was, like I said, I called businesses. I wasn't calling individuals. And but a lot of the businesses were like mom and pop organizations, family owned, kind of thing. And I called and the lady answered, and I asked for a gentleman, and she said, well, he's not here. And so immediately I start going into my spiel, about, selling the product that I had. And I notice suddenly it comes to my ear while I'm talking that it sounds like she's crying. I'm like, crap. So I stopped and I listened, and sure enough, she's crying.
Why?
And I said, ma'am, I'm so sorry. Did I say something? Are you okay? And she snuffled and sniffed and finally got a hold of herself and come back and said, he just died yesterday.
Oh, no.
I'm like, oh, I felt like an inch tall, right?
Yeah.
And I said, nope, I'm not doing this anymore. I quit that day. I'm not, nope.
Mate, yeah, I had something very similar, not as bad, but
Yeah.
pretty bad happen at one. I actually got fired from that one after a week. I got a job, and it was basically half cold calling, half warm calls, right? And I cold called a guy, and he actually was interested in the business, but he was like, "Oh, I've got cancer," and I was like, "Oh, why are you telling me these things? Don't tell me these things. You're making me care."
I mean, like I said, I've got the gift of gab, but I do not like cold call. I really don't like to be on the phone, period. I had to be on the phone a lot at the limo company, my last job. But that was a little different because they're calling you for a service. You're not cold calling them to try to sell them on something you've got. They're calling you for a service. Now, the bad thing about that was, think about it. It's a limo company. Think about the kind of clientele that you get.
Yeah, we've had this conversation before.
You got some really full of themselves individuals calling in sometimes.
Yeah.
and prom time. Oh, forget about it. I know I've talked about that on here, but prom time. Do you have a pink limo? No, I don't have a pink limo.
It always gets me when I see a big ass pink limo Hummer driving around here. I'm like, What year are we in right now?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, we'd get those too. Do you have any Hummer limos? No. All our limos are are Lincoln Town Car limos. So yeah, you want it or not? Because this is prom time, and I guarantee you, there's people in line that I can sell it to.
You know, I worked in this other call center just after Alfie was born. Or before and after he was born, I was working there, and it wasn't cold calling. It was kind of like, it wasn't insurance, but it had a lot to do with people who had car accidents. And what I had to do is I had to take these cases and basically follow up on the current like state of the car, like what was happening with it, you know, because the company that I worked for was like an outsourced thing for various insurance companies in the UK. And they were the ones providing no, not claims handler. They were the ones who would like provide courtesy car, and a bunch of other stuff like that was like on their policy or whatever. And it was like my job to investigate where their claim and stuff was and whether they were eligible for certain things and stuff.
Right.
So like I'd have to call up these mechanics all around the country all day, try to find out the state of cars, but also try to work out whose fault it was of the crash, you know. So like 1 second it's like, oh, what's the current state of the car, and then I could update the system, and then I'd have to call up the people and try to establish whose fault it was.
Mr. Monopoly of Gulf City, do they ask for hearses? No. Here, the funeral home provides the hearse. They each have their own hearse. But that does bring up something. You do get a lot of calls for limousines for funerals. You know, obviously, because, you know, the family, the close family will often get a limousine so they can ride to the graveyard together, you know, in a limousine. And there was this one particular funeral home that would call us, and we finally had to straighten them out. But they would call us, and it was on their profile. You know, when you pulled them up in the computer, it was right there. There was a note in their profile: black drivers only. If you were white, they didn't want you as a driver.
Okay, it's discriminatory, but
yeah, it was a predominantly black neighborhood, a black funeral home. And we finally, the general manager had to finally call him up and said, look, you will have to take whatever, because it became a problem. We first tried to comply with them rather than argue with them. Like, okay, well, we've got plenty of black drivers, you know,
yeah.
And but then there were times that come up that we just didn't have any available. All we had was white, and, you know, they were giving us the business over it and everything. And said, look, we appreciate your business, but if you want to use us, you're going to have to use whatever color driver we send.
Why a black driver though?
They said it made white people made the people uncomfortable.
Oh, piss off!
I'm serious. That was their answer to begin with. And you know what? After the general manager called them and straightened them out, they still used us. And we sent whatever color we had.
It's a bit dangerous complying with something like that, you know, because like you're then expected to provide a black driver, right? If you obviously you had black drivers working for you, but like if you didn't and you wanted that business, or if you only had one black driver and that one black driver didn't like them, then then you'd have to advertise specifically for a black driver. And I'm fairly sure you can't do that even in America. And like you can't advertise your business as, oh yeah, we have colors, we have drivers of all colors here.
Yeah, exactly.
You can hire yourself a black driver, you can have a white one, you can have a Chinese man, you know.
And it's funny you say that, because there was a couple of black drivers that we would normally send on that because they were the most evenly tempered of our drivers, you know. and they were black. And man, I can't stand these people. Don't send me back. Don't send me back. I can't stand them. They're racist.
Well, yeah, it really is, isn't it? Like,
Yeah, but I'm like, from a funeral home to make that request, seriously? Now, somebody my chat's done moved, and somebody says, "Can you imagine if that was reversed?" Exactly. If it was reversed, it'd be a scandal.
you know, the only time that something like this is acceptable in my mind is if it's like a prostitute service. If it's like a brothel or an escort, something like that, then
Yeah.
it's acceptable. But for that, no, that's
Thank you, Cryptic, for the donation. No Asian drivers. Think about that. Yes, we did, and we had pretty much drivers of just about every ilk. We had a Russian guy. We did have an Asian driver. We had, black, white. Had Shami, who was Pakistani. Just all different kind. We had for quite a while. We had an Australian driver from Australia, and we had a guy from the UK for a while. But
See you later, Kyla.
RJ Bansma says, I haven't been in a limo since elementary school. The cool thing about working there is I could rent one really cheap since I worked for them, and I would take them to the airport if the wife and I was taking a trip. And here they would give me a deal where I didn't even have to pay for the limo. I just had to agree to tip the driver. So that was way cheap. And you get out of this long stretch limousine. This is a 10-passenger limousine at the airport. People are giving you looks like, who is this? And I get out in my t-shirt and jeans and trucker hat. But oh yeah, and as somebody mentioned earlier about how Hummer sounds dirty, you wouldn't believe the stories I'd hear from drivers. I never got out of my office. I worked in an office, and I never got out of it. But the drivers were always talking to me, and tons of stories about people getting it on in the back seat.
I bet.
Tons of stories of the people getting it on in the back seat. Most of the drivers are just like, okay, and put up the divider. They have that divider that goes up between the driver section and the rest of it, the cabin.
Get out your car and knock on the door. Stop. Oh, I hate that.
Oh, I hate it too. Everybody that knows me, and especially my family, but anybody that knows me, because I've told them, if you're coming over to pick me up or you want me, don't sit out in the drive and blow the horn. Come to the door and knock, because I'm not gonna. I'll hear you, and I'll purposely ignore you.
Yeah.
Don't.
He's still going.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
But yeah, we you wouldn't believe some of the stories that
I'm opening the door. Right. I'm just gonna take my headphones out for a sec.
All right. Yeah, you all wouldn't believe some of the stories that I could tell you from working in the limo business. I worked there 8 years, and actually some of the worst ones for getting nasty in the back seat were famous people. Sports stars and TV stars and whatnot.
It's the trash family from across the way. They finally come out.
But yeah, the famous people were the worst about getting it on in the back seat. Famous sports stars and TV stars and singers. Because we'd get those. This limo's company, quite a bit of them, and oh my gosh, they were the worst ones. We had this one football player. He's no longer here, hasn't been for some time, but at the time he played for the Colts. And he'd call us up to pick up his girlfriends from the airport, take them to his house, and then take them back to the airport afterwards. And it was quite common. And he was very adamant about, his timing. because it was quite common that he'd have 2 reservations at the same time. We'd have a limo at his house picking up one girl while another limo's at the airport picking up another. They'd pass on the way. One time the timing got off just a little bit, and they kind of met.
Oh dear.
They're like, what are you gonna do?
That's naughty.
Deck train. Actually, I've talked to Reggie Miller many times at the limo company, because yeah, he used us. But he wasn't the one I was talking about. No, I was talking about an NFL player that used to play for. It's been quite some time ago. But yeah, the stories you could tell. You know?
Oh, I bet. You probably make a decent amount of money like selling that story to a magazine.
Oh, well, there's some stories I would feel like I really shouldn't tell, because we were the official limo company to the Indianapolis Colts, and that included the owner, Jim Irsay. And there's things that went on in our limos and with our limos and blah 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 that I just wouldn't feel right telling out of school.
I feel you.
Yeah, we could tell stories. Jim Irsay actually not a bad guy for being, you know, a rich guy, owns this team, and you know, real famous here in Indianapolis, or famous throughout the NFL community. But in 2006, when they won the Super Bowl and got their rings, he actually got a Super Bowl ring for his limo driver, the guy that drove him all the time.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's nice.
Yeah. And I seen it too. That thing is huge.
That's nice of him that he thought of him.
Yeah. I'm like, oh my gosh, does that ring weigh a pound? Because it looks like it does. Huge thing. But yeah, go on Irsay's Twitter. He's actually calmed down quite a bit from what he used to be. And he's calmed down on the pills and booze a lot too. But I was working there during the time that he got caught with the briefcase full of money driving through a bad area of town.
Oh dear.
And yeah, he kind of tried to blame that on us because he tried to rent a limo to do that with, and we didn't have one available at the time. And so he decided to get in the car and take off himself, and got busted.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Oh dear.
I know lots of stories that people wouldn't want me to tell, and I probably won't. You know,
he will tell me though, guys. So don't worry. I mean, I won't tell you either, but he'll tell me. So that's what's important here.
J-Kid used to work there. In fact, he worked there before I did, and then quit, and then went back to work during the period I worked there. He went back. But the first time he worked there, Reggie Miller, who was mentioned earlier, called. You probably don't know that name, but he's a famous NBA player, basketball player.
Okay.
And played for the Indiana Pacers here. And during the time that he was still playing, he called for a reservation, and J-Kid wasn't recognizing his voice, you know, which his voice was pretty well known because he was always giving interviews on TV and all that, you know. It was kind of distinctive, but he wasn't recognizing the voice. And he gets to the part of the reservation where he says, okay, can what's your name? And the guy starts laughing. He goes, no, seriously, I need your name. He goes, Reggie Miller. And he starts typing it in, and he's talking while he's talking. Reggie, wait a minute. Wait a minute. You're not Reggie Miller. And he's like, yes, I am. I swear to God, I am. They're like going back and forth. And finally, after that, Reggie's just dying laughing. And J-Kid gets the reservation made. After that, during the time that J-Kid worked there, he always asked for him when he made a reservation.
It's nice that he could be like that. He
was. Some of the people were really, really nice. Some of the famous people were really, really nice. Some of them really, really weren't nice.
Can imagine.
But like uh, uh, the coach of the Colts that we had before our current one was a super nice guy. Just really nice guy. I talked to him and his wife both on occasion, and they were really nice.
Mm.
There was a famous guy, and I cannot remember the name. He was an actor, but he was also a politician. He used to play on what's that cop procedural show that does the dun dun the noise
Oh,
of the
I know what you're
uh,
talking about. Yeah, because you guys
Law and
show it
Order,
over here.
Law and
Yeah,
Order,
Law and
Law and
Order.
Order.
Yeah, yeah.
He used to play on Law and Order as the head uh, prosecutor. He was in charge of the prosecutor's office. Kind of talked with a southern accent, big fella, but he also became a politician. And
Mm.
I talked to him while he was actually running for president. And
Oh,
he was super nice guy, because usually guys like that have people that do that for them, you know.
yeah.
But for whatever reason, he had to call in. No, it wasn't Donald Trump or Ronald Reagan. I cannot remember this guy. I believe he's passed away now. But yeah,
Oh,
Deck Train Pagano was a super nice guy. He didn't just look like a nice guy on TV. He was an absolutely nice person. And his wife was even nicer. Just a really nice person. Thank you, Duck, Fred Dalton Thompson, and Prospero. Thank you. Yeah, it's super nice guy. He was a character. I mean, man, he was a character, but very nice guy.
you have to be.
Yeah, yeah. Because I remember when I asked him his name, he says, "I am the next president of the United States, Fred Thompson," and he said it in a joking like manner. You know, he was just a real card, real. Like, but anyway, I could spend an entire stream talking about my stories from the limo company. So
Well, I don't see why you shouldn't, unless there were things you wanted to talk about.
no, not in particularly. I looked at the news. It's kind of a slow news cycle. Twitter's just more of the same crap. I logged into. I wasn't on Twitter very much at all yesterday, as you know.
Mm-hmm.
And just logged in for a little bit. And I logged in, and the very first thing I see is some person.
Sophane.
Well, Sophane was involved, but it wasn't Sophane.
Okay.
He was involved in the thread, but he's not the first thing. It was a post about there's a sign or something dedicated to this young black person that was had been dragged out of bed and killed because he was dating a white woman, and this sign or whatever it is keeps getting desecrated and whatever, and probably kids, because kids think that kind of stuff's funny, you know.
Yeah.
And but he says, so racism is no more, right? So why does this happen?
No, nobody says that though.
Exactly. I don't know a single person, and I'm a conservative. I know a lot of right-leaning people, a lot, not only online, but in my real life.
Mm.
And nobody says racism is over. Racism will always exist. There will always be those idiots out there that are racist. It just will.
Yeah.
But we don't say that. What we do say is it's not the big issue that the left tries to make it out to be.
Yeah.
It's just not. I'm like, and see, this is the reason that that sometimes we get conservatives so much hate, because people like that say that, even though they know better. They know that's not true. But then other people read it, they take it for fact. They think that's the way it is. And then they start going, oh, conservatives all think the racism is over.
Yeah. Stupid. It is stupid. Like, nobody's saying that at
No.
all. That racism is over. You know, and meanwhile, you've got like race baiting politicians over here in the UK. People like David Lammy. I know I go on about the guy too much, but he really is just he's not a good person. Like, you know, It's like saying, "Oh, the UK is one of the most racist places in the world." It's like, no, it's not. Are you mad?
Yeah.
You actually mental? Like, you are a elected politician. If it was one of the most racist places in the world, like, you would not be in the position that you're in. Like, and shut
Yeah.
up.
The truth of the matter is, in a situation like that, like I said, it was probably kids. You know, the sign had been shot several times, had been spray painted, had been done this and done that. It's probably kids, teenagers, you know, or people in their very early 20s, which to me is still a kid. But you know, because people at that age think that kind of thing's funny. You eventually grow out of that, thank God, or most people do. But you know, it's probably just kids. But even if it isn't kids, there's always going to be racists. Always. You will never completely 100% get rid of racism. You just won't. There's always going to be those dummies. But we have made huge progress in my lifetime. I mean, think about it. I'm old enough to have actually remember seeing with my own eyes white only fountains. I'm old enough to remember seeing black people being made to sit on the back of the bus. We've come a long way from that, people. Long way. So,
yeah.
Anyway, if anybody said 55 minutes, you've hit the nail on the head, and the old man has to go to the bathroom.
Of course he does. Of course he does.
I will be right back. Take care of the the scream. The stream there, Bear, if you will.
The stream's a scream.
Yeah.
What's going on, everybody? I hope you're well and having a wonderful weekend thus far. I hope you are all planning some nice, relaxing, and awesome, nice, fun activities for yourselves or your families over the weekend. How am I? I'm okay, thank you very much, RJ. I'm okay, thank you very much. Today's been a little bit busy in the Bear household. You know, there's myself and VB have been digging deep with the housework and stuff. You know, every so often you have to do that deep cleaning. You know, especially after Ralphie was quite unwell the last couple of days. Like, he projectile vomited a few times. And yeah, we have a lot of laundry to get through now because of it. So yeah, we were just busy trying to get through all that, you know, and just general house cleaning. Obviously, I made a video. I did a stream this morning. I made another gag ads video, and that was actually a lot tougher than the last gag ads video that I made. A lot tougher. And I don't think the second one is as good as the first one, but I still think that you guys should go check it out anyway after the stream. And Alfie spelt with an F, Maddie, just saying. And he's better now. Thank you very much for asking. He's a lot better. He's running around, he's giving it the mouth today. So yeah, he's back to normal. Data says, Alex, question for the Brit Bear. Okay. Who in England is known for making the best made umbrella in the world? I don't know. It's an odd question to ask me. I'm trying for the 19th time to fix Fallout 4. Had the 0 kilobyte glitch. Is it kilobyte? Is it for ages, and been full on flu for a week. That's also not how you spell flu. Flu doesn't have an E on the end. I'm sorry, I'm being pedantic. I'm being pedantic. I'm sorry to hear that, mate. I don't actually never heard of that glitch before. Never heard of that glitch for Fallout 4. I have Fallout 4 and I have like all the DLC, and I've obviously experienced glitches as everybody does with big AAA open world games, especially from Bethesda. But I've never had that. Never had that one. It's an odd one. It's good to hear, Bear. Sorry for the misspelling. It's all good. It's all good. It's all good. What a nice English name for Alfie when he was born. If he turned out to be a girl, BB wanted to name him Elizabeth. I liked it at first, but I don't think I would have stuck with the name Elizabeth had Alfie become a girl.
It's a good thing you didn't stick with that name now. I mean,
we just call him Eli now.
it'd be like the old Johnny Cash song. How do you do? My name is Sue.
I heard Fallout 4 gets slower the longer you play. It's more than likely the same glitch that Skyrim had, where the longer you play in the autosave feature, the larger the file gets, and it obviously doesn't get compressed, and thus slows the game down.
I've played games like that. That the longer you played them, the slower they got.
Fallout 4 is a good game. It is a good game. But it's, I don't know. I think I need longer away from it, I guess.
Yeah.
You know what I
Anyway,
mean.
yeah. It really bugs me to have to get up and go to the bathroom like that in the middle of the stream all the time. I know I've made a joke out of it, but it bugs me. I hate that I'm old sometimes. At least it's not as bad as a period of time yesterday. There was like a 2-hour period of time yesterday while I was trying to settle in and script that I had to go to the bathroom like every 20 minutes for like 2 hours. I'm like, are you kidding me? Stop it. Just get it all out at once, will you?
I don't understand how like Twitch streamers and stuff can do it on a daily basis, because a lot of them stream for 4 to 6 hours at a time. It's like, well, the bigger ones obviously can get away with switching like the scene over on OBS to like be back shortly because I'm on a break. But like streamers who are trying to grow, trying to maintain that audience, like poor bloody Badger Boy, Minding Freedom. Like he can't go for like a dump in the middle of a stream, like if he needs to go, or a big wee if he really wants to.
Yeah. Which brings up OBS. You mentioned OBS, which made me think that by the time my next stream comes around,
oh yeah,
they may have done away with Hangouts.
Allegedly, I don't know.
I don't know where that information came from. I do know that, yes, for sure they are doing away with it at some point.
Yeah.
But I don't know where the August came from. I have seen it a few other places on Twitter, other people saying that it's going to die in August. Well, where are you getting that info? Because I haven't seen it. But
there was an article that had the date in it. I'll look it up in a second, mate.
I got you. But yeah, folks, I may have to start going over to OBS. Well, in fact, I'm pretty sure I will have to go to OBS and use something else to gather the guests together in Discord or whatever. So you keep your fingers crossed that the streams will be okay, because the last time I tried using OBS, it wasn't good.
I was there for that, wasn't I?
Yes, you were. You and Monkey both were there. And it got so bad that we had to shut the first stream down and just come on a hangout.
Yeah.
Because it was just buffering something fierce, something terrible. And I'm pretty sure that's all the fault of my laptop, because I have pretty good internet. It's not the internet. It's my laptop.
So if you want to help the old man out and you want to keep him on the air, and obviously help him pay his bills as well, guys, support Bloodwing. Donate via Super Chat, Streamlabs. It'll help him get a brand new decent computer that he can live stream from if you enjoy these shows, and it'll also help him keep the internet and power on as well.
Yeah, so exactly. Those are good things.
Support your favorite creators, guys.
Those are good things. The power went out the other night in the middle of the night. I'm like, and I don't mind. I'll sit here in the dark and just sit here, Don't bother me none.
Mm.
But it is an issue when you want to go to the bathroom.
Yes, yeah.
Because you really want to kind of see the toilet when you.
Yeah, for me, it's a bit difficult as well, man, because my bathroom's upstairs. I've got 2 cats. Sometimes they like to chill out on the stairs. You know, I've stood on my cats before, and I've nearly flown from the top down to the bottom, and I've fallen from about a quarter of the way up down the stairs when I've tripped over the cat in the
Pulled a
dark.
monkey, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, and by the way, I sent him a link as usual, and he come back. I guess he's not in very good shape at the moment. He's feeling kind of bad, so he begged off.
Yeah, he was starting to feel pretty bad this morning on Monkey in the Morning. And of course, there was a thunder, and we all heard it was so loud that we all heard it.
Yeah.
You know? He said there was a blue flash in his space, which is why he shut the stream down.
Yeah. Oh, I love weather like that.
Oh,
I know I'm weird, but I love it.
Oh, I like it too. I enjoy it.
I'll get up and look out the windows, start watching for funnel clouds, but
yeah, but you've got that extra fun aspect to your weather, haven't you?
Yeah. And usually around here, our tornado detection system's pretty decent. You'll usually, what happens that the second even the slightest funnel is seen, somebody will call it in because there's a phone number that you can call in sightings.
Yeah.
And immediately they'll flip whatever switch it is that turns on every tornado siren in the city.
Good.
You know, and so there it is pretty decent. Our death rate for tornadoes around central Indiana have went down a lot in the last several years since they've had that implemented.
But, yeah. That's a good. That's a worthy investment.
Yeah,
freaking tornadoes. Yeah.
Ebony Williams says, "How often do I go? Not nearly often enough. I haven't been in years. You know, my legs got so bad that I just couldn't. I couldn't navigate lake banks and stuff. You know, because they're quite often slanted and uneven and so forth, and I would end up in the water." Is what would happen. And the best fishing spots, anybody that fishes knows, are the ones that are the hardest to get to. So yeah, but before my legs went bad, I was fishing all the time. There was a period in time I used to keep 5 or 6 fishing poles in my trunk in my tackle box all the time, just in case I got off of work early. I'd run and go fishing for a couple hours before I went home. I love to fish, but I haven't been in years. Have not.
Well, you've not really been in a position to be able to do that, though, have you?
No, I'd have to have somebody carry all my equipment. Shoot, I'd have to have somebody pretty much carry me down to the shore, you know, or at least hold on to me to make sure I didn't take a header into the lake.
Do you think you could get away with it now?
I might, since, you know, I am better after the surgery and might have enough. I would still take my cane just to steady myself, you know, just to be sure. But yeah, I might be able to. I'm almost old enough that I don't need a fishing license.
Hey, you have a super chat.
Yeah, thank you, Cryptic. Redneck hobbies, ride tornadoes on lawn chairs. Exactly. Hey, sounds fun to me. Sounds fun to me.
I need a more up-to-date news article about this. Okay, 23rd of January, Gizmo. No, what? I don't know. A more up-to-date one, I said. Give me something more up-to-date. Any chance? No? April. That can't be the most up-to-date. 10th of May.
Straight shift mail. There is no way that I'm going noodling. I know exactly what noodling is, and I am never going noodling. That's stupid crazy. Do you know what noodling is, Baron?
No.
Oh, It's popular in the Southwest in particular, but other places as well. Noodling is where you wade out up to your neck into the body of water, whatever it is that you're fishing in, that you're looking for fish in. A lot of times around old junk cars that have been dumped in the water or whatever.
Mhm.
And you start feeling around on the bottom for holes. And when you find one, you stick your hand up in that hole, down in that hole, and wiggle your fingers. Because if there's a catfish in that hole, they'll bite your hand.
Right.
And so when they bite your hand, you grab onto them and yank them out.
All right. Nice hands-on approach.
Some of those catfish, though, are big enough that you got to use a winch to get them out. I've seen that happen. Catfish can get huge. I'm not sticking my hand down in a hole and letting some catfish bite me on the hand. Not doing it. Plus, you got to be careful. If that hole starts to make an upward slope, get your hand out of there really quick, because that's a snapping turtle hole. Lose some fingers. No, I ain't doing it. That's crazy.
Yeah, don't do that. Don't do that.
I'm a crazy old hillbilly. I'm a crazy old redneck, that's for sure. But there are some things I just won't do.
Yeah, it's probably smart. You know, I need a poo.
You need a poo? Well, go poo.
But before I go for a poo,
okay.
What I'm going to do is I'll quickly go through this article. This is from techcrunch.com. And it says, Google starts migrating all G Suite users from Hangouts to Meet. And of course, that's the thing that I will be using whenever Hangouts is done away with. Google today announced that starting now, it is moving all of its G Suite users who follow its recommended schedule from its Hangouts video chat service to Hangouts Meet, the more enterprise-ready version of Hangouts. The move will likely take about a month or so. This means all newly created calendar invites will now link to Meet video meetings, though Google stresses that all previously created meetings won't be affected by this. For the time being, admins can still opt out of the transition, and some may want to do so simply because, blah, 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 blah. Google's overall messaging strategy remains as confusing as always. The original plan was to position Allo and Duo as its consumer text and video chat apps, while Meet and the more Slack-like Hangouts chat played to its enterprise users. Allo was a total failure, however, and its preferred messaging app now seems to be Chat, which will offer support for the new RCS standard and give Android users a more iMessage-like experience. Yeah. Can we get to YouTube though? Okay, it doesn't mention that, but yeah.
So that's different than because right now, if you click that link up in the upper right-hand corner of a Hangout that pops up now telling you that it's going to go away soon, it takes you to that webcam app that they have.
Yeah.
And so that's different than the webcam app. That sounds like something I can deal with. I just don't like the webcam app because there's no way to turn the webcam off.
I also don't think it has a streaming capability either.
Oh yeah, you can stream. I accidentally did.
Oh, okay.
I was piddling around with it to see what it's done, and evidently I started a stream for a few seconds. But yeah, you absolutely can.
That's me.
I'll
go to toilet.
Okay.
It might be a while because I do like to enjoy my poos.
All right. RJ Bands, are you laughing at cow tipping because you don't believe it, or because you think that's a funny thing that Jen said? Because I'm going to tell you, it is a thing. It absolutely is a thing. I've done it. But what's even funnier is when my dad was a young man. They used to go around and tip over tip over outhouses. Because that's most people had outhouses back when he was a young man. He said he used to do that until a buddy of his, they were pushing the outhouse over, and he stepped off into the pit underneath, and the outhouse rocked back on its base, and there he was trapped under the outhouse up to his neck in poo. So, yeah. It might kick him, but that's the trick. You got to catch him asleep. And don't stand behind them, for pity's sake. You don't stand behind a cow. Cows they can be aggressive, but generally cows are not very good. It's the bulls that are aggressive. But you don't want to stand behind a cow. No, they will kick. So how you doing, chat? Anything in particular you want to discuss? Well, a bear's way in the pooper. Yeah, cows can kick sideways. Yes, they absolutely do. It's an issue when you're milking one. Yeah, you gotta. That's the reason when you sit and milk a cow, you sit with your back toward their head to keep you as far away as from their back legs as you can. Ebony Williams says hot dogs or corn dogs. Well, as I mentioned before, I'm not a real hot dog guy, but I will eat corn dogs. So I guess corn dogs. As long as it's smothered in ketchup, I'll eat a corn dog. Let's see. Functionalist, I used to beat the crap out of people who tipped cows, and I'd shoot at people who tried tipping my cows. Well, that's your right, I reckon. I'm not advocating that people should go out tipping cows. I'm just saying that it's possible to tip cows. Old-fashioned outhouses were over a hole in the ground, and you could bury the waste and move it to another hole. Exactly. That's what they did. They were portable to an extent where you could just pick up the outhouse and move it over top the next hole. RJ Bansma saw someone selling a Ford Focus RS with a free vape. They might buy it just to get the vape. Let's see here. Thanks, BW. Now I want corn dogs. Hey, blame Ebony. They brought it up. And now he's got people wanting chicken wings. What's just making everybody, the Ebony out in the chat, making everybody hungry. Let's see. Even have you ever been out in those cowed fields stacking rocks? No. But we used to drive. My cousin and I used to drive an old Thunderbird around in the cow fields all the time. That car wasn't fit to be on the road, but we'd ride it all over the cow pastures. Yeah, you just have to be careful. Exactly, like when you go hoe to hoe. Yeah, exactly. Wikipedia snippet. I've even heard of fried ice cream. It's a thing. I've never had it, but I know it is a thing. RJ Banzo says, I'd take that deal. I'd have a hot car and a hot vape. Let's see here. Devil Fruit Zero. Bloodwing, do you like Western TV movies? Is the Pope Catholic? I was raised on old Westerns, dude. One of my favorite actors is the Duke. What do you think? John Wayne. He's the man. Absolutely, I love old Westerns and TV movies and stuff. Yes, sir. Raised on it. You got to remember when I was a kid in the 60s, probably 75% of the TV shows on TV at that time were Westerns. That was the thing. Westerns were the zombie movies of the 60s. Are you just trying to brag, RJ Bansma, that you're going to be cooking, because I can mute you. I'm just teasing, but a steak does sound good. Is the Pope Catholic? I'm not too sure. Well, I guess that might be up for debate. But yeah, when I was a kid in the 60s, I don't think I'm exaggerating to say at least 75% of the TV shows on the air at the time were Westerns of some sort or another. There was just a ton of them. So yeah, I was raised on that stuff. 1860 was a long time ago, man. Yeah, I'm not talking 1860. I'm talking 1960. But and I, like every other little kid at the time, wanted to be a cowboy. And then in the late 60s, that all changed, and everybody wanted to be an astronaut. RJ Bansman, if a hearse gets traded in, is it a rehearse? No, I don't know. I don't know. But that does make me think of a humorous story. When I was working at a car dealership, it was a Toyota dealership, a fella come and done a commercial for us. And he was a famous horror movie host locally called Sammy Terry. And in the background, while he was doing it, was around Halloween time, so he was doing the commercial. They had an old hearse that they pulled in the shop and shot the commercial. After it was all over, they were clearing everything out of the garage, and nobody wanted to get in and move the hearse. I'm like, it's just a car, you guys. Yeah, but it's had dead people in it. So they were dead. They can't hurt you. Anyway, I ended up jumping in, laughing at everybody because they were such sissies and driving that hearse out, which was pretty cool because it was an old hearse. Actually, pretty cool car.
Hello.
Hello.
My bowels lied to me.
Oh, they did, huh? So it was a ghost poo.
Yeah, it may have been, yeah. Sat down, got all nice and comfy, like, Disappointing.
Yeah.
Which
movie are you talking about, Data Wasteland? I feel like I've missed something here. Sorry, I interrupted you, Bear. What'd you say?
Yeah, I remember watching some stand-up from Gabriel Iglesias, Fluffy, a while ago, and he likes to talk about his stepson a lot, and he's saying like these kids don't communicate; they're just on their phones all the goddamn time. And he said that like his son as a teenager would walk around shuffling with his eyes, on the phone, so he didn't bump into anything too hard. And he said that he'd find him like laughing like a creature, I suppose. And I just went into the kitchen before I come back in here, and I could hear ha, 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 ha. I was like, what the fuck is that? And I walked into the living room, and lo and behold, it's my stepson making the exact same noise that Fluffy was basically describing his son makes. What's happened to kids?
Kids, you gotta love them.
God damn. Oh, well, I walked in now. I looked at him. He looked up at me, and I went, "Are you laughing?" As I said to him, "You laughing?" And he went, "Yeah." And I went, "Good Lord!" Just walked out.
Straight Sis Mail says, "BW, you ever heard the term drunker than a cooter brow?" I don't think so. I could have. It's not shocking to me that that's a saying, but I don't think I've heard it.
Did you watch my gag ads video?
I did. When you posted it, I was watching it. Part of it I just listened to in the background because I had to get everything ready for the stream, So I was opening up windows and stuff, but when I wasn't watching, I was listening. So
What are your thoughts?
I thought it was funny.
Better or worse than the last one?
I don't think it was any worse.
No?
No.
Okay.
I thought they were both good quality. So
Okay, thank you.
Bear trying to put me on the hot seat.
Oh, I'm just asking for your critique and some goddamn honesty.
And I was just yanking your chain.
I know.
Oh yeah, support your local sheriff data. Yeah, of course I've seen the movie. Well, this stream has went all over the place today, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Which is okay. This is okay. The only format that this stream has is that it's over at 2 hours.
Yeah. Yes, it is. Yeah.
And
Gutenberg.
And there's reasons for that. One, I get tired. Usually by the end of 2 hours, I have to eat. You know, and you know, to me, you know, because back in the day, there were people that used to put on marathon streams of 6, 8 hours at a time.
Mm-hmm.
It was pretty common. And anything over a couple of hours generally gets kind of repetitive and boring. I found. So I like to end this one before it gets boring.
Yeah.
But the biggest reason is after 2 hours, I'm usually pretty tired and need to eat pretty bad.
Yeah.
Get tired. That's right. You making fun of me, Faithless?
Mm-mm.
Is it a shock to you that I'm a redneck and I say things funny? Because if it is, where you been? You don't pay much attention, do you?
I like making the gag ads videos. I'll have to spread them out a little bit more though. I think.
Yeah.
So because I can only do so many different voices. You know, I suppose I could use my own and be like really sarcastic or whatever in them, but yeah.
But you're way better doing, and I've told you this before. You're way better at doing voices than I am. I can't. I can't do it.
Well, I'm not. The purpose isn't really to do voices as such. Like, I don't want to get too reliant on various different accents and stuff like that because I just want to be able to just take ads and just make fun of them. And
I will say this, and I noticed this because it came to me when I was listening to it. I can tell that you've been working on your American accent.
Yeah, I have been.
Yeah, I could tell. It shows.
Good. I'm glad.
Pretty well. But yeah.
I'm practicing.
Evil One says, do you say plum tard? Absolutely, I do. Yeah.
I do have ideas, and I think those ideas will help grow the channel as well. Is if I don't just focus on like the ads that I've been doing, if I do movie trailers, TV show trailers, maybe game trailers as well. I think that would really help.
Yeah.
In terms of growth.
Well, you and I were talking some before the stream started. Even though it's turned into a lot of effort, I'm really enjoying doing the Redneck Trek thing. I mean, and the reason it's a lot of effort is mostly my fault because I keep wanting to make each episode better than the one before it, technically better, you know. And so I keep trying harder, and I keep trying to learn how to do new things, and you know, it's you want each episode to be at least equal to the one before it, if not better, you know. So you're just like so I make a lot of work for myself is what happens.
Yeah. Isn't that the way?
But I do enjoy it quite a lot. I do got to start on it earlier in the week though, instead of trying to cram it in the last 2 days before it's due. But this week I had an excuse. I was going to get started Monday and or Tuesday. Rather, I was going to get started Tuesday, and as we all remember, Tuesday my internet went out. So
yeah, and it kind of almost went again on Thursday.
yeah. But I do enjoy it, even though it has become harder work. I don't mind hard work as long as I'm enjoying what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I will admit that sometimes while I'm scripting, and I've always enjoyed writing. I've always had a knack for writing. I express myself very well for writing. But whew, there were a few times yesterday while I was writing and my eyeballs was crossing. It's like I'm getting tired of staring at this word pad.
Yeah.
I need to take a break.
With the gag ads videos, I can't script them.
Right. Well, my preference would be to just record my voice at the same time that I'm watching playback of my gameplay and just do it in real time, which I did the first couple of ones, but those were the ones that my stutter come out really, really bad.
Yeah.
And the only way to avoid that is to script it. So I kind of have to do double the work now because I rewatched the gameplay. And while I'm rewatching, I'm pausing it and writing a comment. This is what I want to say here. This is what I want to say there. And I do that for the whole thing. Then I have to go back and actually record all that.
Yeah. I feel you, dude. With the gag ads. Well, I made this one was made a little bit differently. I found my 4 ads like a couple of days ago and downloaded them today. Chucked all 4 of them into Vegas, and I separated them by huge time margins. And then what I would do is I sit there and I'd watch them a couple times. I'd watch the first one a couple of times. I go, right, okay, I have an idea of what I want to do, and then I'd go through it and I'd chop it up, and I would basically say what I wanted to say into Audacity, then stop recording, and then move on to the next section of the ad.
I could do that. I could do that, but I'm just trying to avoid. My stutter can get pretty bad sometimes if I'm not careful.
I feel you, dude.
And so
how bad I get.
Trying to avoid it. I intend for BJ to have a little bit of a stutter that's part of his character,
Yeah.
But I don't want it to get out of hand.
Yeah.
It's kind of like my wife says, why don't you can record that while I'm sleeping? I'm like, no, I can't. Well, why not? You do other videos. Because this character is purposely obnoxious and loud. I will wake you up.
It's funny how we both kind of play obnoxious, loud characters.
Yeah, well, that's what I wanted it to be. That that we all know, obnoxious, loud. He's an idiot, but he doesn't know he's an idiot. He's blissfully unaware that he's an idiot. He's not incredibly intelligent, but somehow he muddles through and always ends up the hero. It always ends up going his way,
Yeah.
And that's the kind of character I've tried to make him into being. I think I'm successful, but that's at least what I'm shooting for.
Yeah.
But practicing writing with left hand, not actually that difficult, but HST. Speak for yourself. If I write something with my stupid hand, my left hand is pretty unreadable. Of course, the stuff I write with my right hand is pretty unreadable too, but take that for what it's worth. I tried to make a review for a film, managed to script it, although I just couldn't make it, and I don't have a suitable mic. Joel Brown says, dude, I've said it before, and you may think I'm joking, but I could turn on my camera and prove it to you. I'm using a Rock Band mic. With the right setup, you don't have to spend a lot of money.
Yeah.
You don't.
True. Very, very true.
You know, there's ways around it. Shoot, when I started making videos, I used a headset mic and uh, Windows Movie Maker,
So did I.
which isn't even supported anymore.
Yeah.
That's how old it is.
I'm fairly sure Rags was using Windows Movie Maker after like 200,000 subscribers.
Yeah, I still pull it out every once in a while because there's things it'll do and do easily and quickly that takes me a lot longer to do on Vegas. There's some things it'll do, you know. I still every once in a great while I'll pull it out, do something in it, save it, and then pull it over to Vegas. You know, for what it was, it done a lot.
Yeah, it was easy enough, especially for response videos. You could do a fair amount in it, really.
To be honest, the only reason I really ever moved over to Vegas was I was able to get my sound quality so much better by using Vegas than I was in trying to do it in Movie Maker. There was just something about the sound quality of Movie Maker that was never up to my liking.
Yeah.
Even though I would take, you know, and I always do, I take whatever, you know, the sound, the voiceovers, and run it through Audacity and do some things to it to clean it up and, you know, bring the voice out and all that stuff like we all do, and put it in Movie Maker though, and it just didn't sound right. And I can get the sound so much better on Vegas.
Yeah. Vegas is all right. It's funny. I had this idea in my head, and I think I said it on stream that I needed Premiere to improve my content dramatically, you know. And I got Premiere, and I was looking through it, and I jumped in a hangout with Monkey, and we had a good chat, and he was explaining things to me, and I was like, Monkey, do you know how much easier it is to do that in Vegas? I was like, all these things that you're suggesting to me right now, I can do in Vegas.
Yeah.
Easier than Premiere. Like I don't understand the point of even bothering with Premiere when Vegas is just easier to learn and easier to use.
Joel Brown says, no, I literally don't have a mic at all, and the sound quality from my laptop is terrible. Oh, well, that's different. Yeah, laptop mics are infamously crap.
Yeah, they are.
They are really terrible, so I get that. Yeah, I mean, for a while there, I tried to use a program called DaVinci Resolve, which is a free program, and it has almost all the functions that Vegas does. In fact, it looks very similar to Vegas in the way that it works. But for some reason, man, is it a resource hog?
Yeah.
It would barely run on my computer. And forget about it if you were trying to run playback, because, you know, I'll edit a scene, and then I'll while I'm still in Vegas, I'll go back to the beginning of that scene and run it through to make sure that it looked the way that I wanted it to look, you know?
Yeah.
And tried doing that in DaVinci Resolve, and you might get every fourth or fifth frame. It was terrible. It was so resource hungry.
When I first started, I tried to use Film 4 Express. Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Thing was so slow. Just lagging out. Just it was awful. Piece of crap.
Yeah. Wikipedia snippet says, "Oh, Vegas is a type of software." For a moment, I thought you were meant going to Nevada. No, I've never been to that Vegas. No, Vegas is an editing software. Most video creators either use Vegas or they use Premiere. One or the other. Most, I think, use Premiere, but if you don't have Premiere available to you, then people will use Vegas.
Yeah.
But
Vegas is it does the job, really.
That's all I need out of it. I don't need something that's going to be professional on TV quality because I'm probably not going to know how to use that anyway. Vegas certainly does just about everything that I want to. Like I said, there are some things that I still pull up Movie Maker to do because it does dissolves better than Vegas and easier, and it does like title cards easier than Vegas. Certain effects it will do easier, but Vegas does exactly all I need it to.
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the only reasons why you would need Premiere, and even that, like, there is nothing that you can do in Premiere that you can't do in Sony Vegas. It's just that it complements. I forget what's the other program, After Effects.
After Effects, yeah.
Yeah, it complements it, but I'm fairly sure you can still dump anything that you want to make from Vegas into After Effects, or from After Effects to Sony Vegas. Well, it's not Sony Vegas anymore, is it? It's Magic's Vegas, isn't it?
Right. But yeah, there are some things that, as I understand it, the Premiere will do better than Vegas, like overlays and certain effects and so forth. But I don't have a need for that, to be honest with you. Not at this juncture in my YouTube career. Gulf City Mephistopheles. Almost couldn't say it there for a second. My brain farted. Blowing irate bear. Good afternoon, gentlemen. How are we all doing today? Doing good. Thank you.
Yeah, doing all right, mate. Doing better since I got on the stream anyway.
Don't know if you can use Reaper, but that's what I'm getting to buy for the band. Not sure what Reaper is. Faithless says ringing endorsement. Sony Vegas, man, good enough. Well, that's the way I am. I'm a man of very simple tastes. I don't need fancy schmancy. If it'll do the job, that's all I need. Why buy a Cadillac when a Chevy will do me? That's just the kind of person I am.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not aware of too many differences between them both. I mean, you can do effects in Sony Vegas. Sorry, I keep calling it Sony Vegas because that's what it was called when I first got it. It's Magic's Vegas. You can still do effects. You can still make shit fly across the screen and stuff like that. I've done it. I think Premiere just has a larger selection of them built into it.
Yeah.
Oh. Like I don't know. I'm not sure which is more stable either.
But the whole point is, if you don't take anything else away from this conversation than this, is you really don't need a lot of fancy schmancy stuff to start putting videos together. Now, as you go along, sure, you want to get better things, and I did. But to start out, jeez, I used free, whatever was free, because free was good.
Yeah.
And sure, it shows. It shows. You can look back at my early videos and you can tell. But still got the point across,
So Vegas Pro, user-friendly interface and workflow, affordable price. It never used to be. It used to be about $600. You remember? Yeah. I managed to pick it up, like a proper copy of it through Humble Bundle. Prototype tilting technology. It features integration with 24p DV, supports scripting technology, supports high dynamic range or HDR, allows motion tracking. It says this right, but I still don't know how to do motion tracking except for manually doing it.
One of these days, I'm going to get into, what is it, chroma key, where you green screen?
Oh, yeah, that's really simple, mate.
Not to where I want to tackle that yet, but sometime in the future, I have plans for something that I'm going to do that I'll need to be able to green screen for.
Yeah.
but that's a ways down the road, probably when I get a better computer.
Mm.
Yeah, I can't imagine it's too hard. But yeah, a decent mic and free software. Joe Brown says to free software to edit. Yeah, uh, I was fortunate to be able to come up with this Rock Band mic, which is not the best, but it's a whole lot better than what I had, and it does okay. You know, and the free software. I'll be honest with you, the copy of Vegas that I have is an older version of it's Vegas 13, and it was free to me. So,
Mm. By the way,
hey,
Vegas Pro does work with Open Effects. What is Open Effects? I thought it said After Effects then, but it doesn't. It says Open Effects. Never heard that one before. Ah. Well, I mean, think about it like this, guys, right? You can either have a one-off payment for a software program, or you can pay monthly for a program. Like,
see, that would just bug the crap out of me to have to pay by the month.
yeah,
It just would. It would just bug me. Like, no, I don't want that. uh, what is it? I met my wife at the park. Sparks flew. She fell at my feet, and we had sex right then and there. I love my new taser. Oh, nice one, guy. Nice one.
Open Effects is just a plugin. I think I might have to grab that.
Yeah. I think now that you mention it, I think that I've seen that in the menus. You know, I think it's blanked out on mine, but Open Effects, you know.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to have a look. I'm gonna open up Vegas now. Actually, it's Vegas. I do have Vegas. I bought Vegas 15
Yeah.
after 14, and I kept getting infinite render on it.
Oh,
So I uninstalled it and reinstalled 14.
that's my only thing is it takes so long to render. But that's on my computer, not the software.
Mm,
A 20-minute video takes well over an hour to render. And I can't do anything else while it's rendering or it'll glitch.
yeah.
I have to just sit there and watch it.
Yeah, it's a pain in the backside. The chat's not very chatty today, are they?
Well, it's Saturday. It's a lazy day, you know, and we're not talking about anything massively important and topical and whatever. We're just chatting.
Yeah,
You
that is
know,
true. That is true.
we're just two guys having a conversation with some other guys that are, you know, our acquaintances, our friends, and we're just hanging out. We're
Yeah,
just
that's
hanging
true.
out,
Yeah.
and that's exactly what I wanted the stream to be when I first started it. It's just a bunch of like-minded people just hanging out. You know,
Okay.
when I was a kid, a little kid, you know, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years old. Uh, this was long before the internet age, you know, and most people didn't even have a color TV. But the adults would, you know, neighbors would come over and friends would come over, and the adults would all play cards, you know, or sit
Mm,
around the table talking, you know, just talking, you know, entertaining themselves with talking about current topics and whatnot. And you always knew when that was going to happen because mom would have the coffee pot on the stove, you know, the old percolator coffee pot. Bloop, 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 bloop. And you always knew the company was coming. And I think that's something that's gone away in our society. That's a shame that it's gone away. You know, just people talking. And so that's always what I wanted the stream to be. You know, kind of the internet version of sitting around the kitchen table and talking.
okay. Some of us are just silently plotting how to seize Lord Bear's manor and estates, shackling that fop for our entertainment. Ah, crap, shouldn't have said that. Yeah, you really shouldn't have. So
Uh,
the only real differences then between Premiere and Vegas appears to be that movies, actual movies, have been made with Premiere, and none have been made with Vegas, and that it's more professional. Premiere's just more professional, and has various playback options that make it reduce the workload, apparently.
Yeah.
But it suits my purpose. I can still create mad effects. Like, I used to watch all these videos, these commentary channel, modern day commentary channel videos, with
Right.
all this crazy editing, like the awesome looking kind of effects and stuff. And it wasn't until I actually thought about it and realized that a lot of the stuff they have on screen is just simply made in Photoshop.
Yeah.
And then all it's done then is thrown around with layers in Vegas. That's all it is.
Yeah. I mentioned earlier that I make things harder on myself on Redneck Trek sometimes because I come up with these fantastic ideas that I really don't know how to do. So then I got to figure it out on the fly, right? On how to do these things. And but a lot of that's because it's just how would you say, it's not busy work. It's just very intricate, like cutting little bitty small pieces of the recording and putting it here or there, and fading this one in and out, and that kind of, it's just very intricate work is why it takes so long. It's not that it's that it's not that it's that mentally taxing. It's just time consuming.
Well, yeah, editing is, but it's fun.
It is. It is. It's probably my least favorite part of making videos is editing, but that doesn't mean I hate it. I just I really like writing, so I like the writing part of it. But.
Yeah, the writing part's my favorite. If I am writing, I don't always write.
Right.
It depends on the video. Like if it's on Irate Alex, the only videos that are scripted on Irate Alex are Lord Bear videos.
Let's see, what do we got here? Oh, we're down to we've got about 10 minutes left. So, folks, if you've got any questions or anything you want to ask or just jokes, I like jokes.
He does like them, folks.
Yeah. And yes, cryptic, even if you want to do puns, because I do like puns. And the title of the upcoming episode of Redneck Trek actually is That's Not Punny, Dude.
Hey.
So that give you a little clue of what's going to be happening.
Lots of puns then.
Oh, you'll like it. It'll get on your nerves because you don't like but you'll like it.
It's because I hate puns. They say sarcasm is the lowest form of humor, but it's really not. It's puns are.
oh, trust me. There's a part in this video where I take it to the extreme.
Oh no!
But you'll see. You'll see. I actually think you like it.
Okay.
I think you like it because at the point that I start doing the puns, I actually make a counter at the top of the screen, counting how many times
smart.
I use the pun.
That is smart.
She aggresses, I adopted a dog without arms or legs, called him Cigarette because I have to take him for a drag. Oh, shit, crap. Oh, goodness gracious.
We're going to fall out, you and me, Cigarette. Seeing your name makes me want to play Oblivion.
Yeah, what's worse than finding that's been a saying I've had for a long time. What's worse than finding a worm in your apple? Finding half a worm in your apple. Yeah. That is way worse.
Yes, it is.
Since Drunken Uncle did read this one out, what do you call a lesbian dinosaur? Lickalotopus. Okay.
Guys, come on.
Girls are a lot like parking spaces. Most of the good ones are taken, so when no one is looking, you stick it in a disabled. Oh my god!
Oh, that's great.
Oh my
That
gosh.
must have come from sheer graph. Yeah, it definitely
Yeah,
did.
it
Yeah,
did.
of course.
It absolutely did.
Wikipedia snippet says, "What's worse than lobsters on your piano? Crabs on your organ."
Oh no. Oh my gosh, guys. Oh, who doesn't like bad jokes? I mean, seriously.
I don't
You
know, man.
you can roll your eyes and you can groan all you want, but you know deep down there's a part of you that's like,
I'll go cryptics drop one. Today my son asked, "Can I have a book, Mark?" And I burst into tears. 11 years old, and he still doesn't know my name is Brian.
You know, that's the reaction that Cryptic's jokes get most often is just simply,
Yeah.
love you, Cryptic.
Why do doctors slap babies on the ass when they are born? It knocks the dicks off the dumb ones.
Oh. Oh. Oh my goodness. I guess this would be a good place to say, YouTube, if you're listening, the opinions of my chat are not necessarily the opinions of this channel.
Mm-hmm. Remember to be respectful, chat. That's what it says. I'm not saying my wife used to be a slag, but before I met her, the only thing she ever used for protection during sex was a bus shelter.
Oh my goodness.
That's very good.
Oh my goodness.
That's very, very good.
Yeah, he's pretty good at those sort of things. Wikipedia snippet. Why'd you give up? Did you run out of jokes?
I always get the feeling that Shia Garaf is just copying and pasting from Wikipedia if it still exists.
It may be, but that still denotes that there's some skill involved. He's able to find the best ones.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah. I remember reading through Wikipedia for hours when I was younger, trying to find good jokes.
Yeah, because you go to the joke sites, you know, if you look up, like you Google, you know, jokes or whatever, you've got to sift through a dozen of them to find one good one.
Yeah. Yeah, you do. Did you hear about the guy who dipped his testicles in glitter? Pretty nuts.
Whoa, boy.
Yeah, I confirmed it. Shia Garaf's Wikipedia and dark jokes on Reddit. Yeah. There we go. There we go. Oh, for God's sake, Ebony Williams. What do you call a boomerang that doesn't come back? A stick.
I've heard that one before, but I like it every time I hear it.
Peace sake.
And then Sheagrath comes back with, what's brown and sticky? A stick. We're awful. We're just awful. I swear to goodness, man. The most lowbrow channel on the internet.
I really like that one, though.
Yeah, I do too.
What's brown and sticky? A stick.
Green
God.
Thunder the Mighty says, you want to know why I'm so odd? Because I just can't even.
Come on. Come on. Why do women have two holes so close together so you can carry them like a six-pack?
I've heard that one before. How much No More Tears shampoo do you have to rub in a baby's eyes before it stops crying? Oh my gosh, you're killing me, dude. You're killing me, Smalls.
Like it.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. RJ Bands, I agree. I've been hearing yakety sax in my brain the whole time here.
What's the difference between jam and jelly? I can't jelly my dick down my wife's throat.
Oh my goodness. Well, on that note, we're getting close enough. I need to start doing my outro. uh, as long, if I don't choke to death here. But thank you guys. Thank you as always. Thank you for all the jokes there at the end. Yeah, I needed that. I needed a good laugh because as soon as the stream's over, I'm gonna go back to editing and want to poke myself in the eye. But thank you all for coming out. Thank you for supporting the streams with your likes, your shares, the comments, and for it, that all supports me. And then those that were able to go a little step further and give donations, thank you very much. Always appreciate it. Bear, as always, thank you for coming. Anything you want to shout out?
Well, thank you very much for having me, as always, 3 times a week, Mr. Bloodwing. But guys, yes, I've released 2 new videos today. There's a new one on Irate Bear, where it's a response to a Sky News interview with a super innovative feminist who's created the anti-manspreading chair. So go give that a watch. And immediately afterwards, guys, go over to my second channel, Irate Alex, and check out the brand new gag ad video. And this time, folks, it's on brain training mobile apps commercials. So there's the link to the gag ads video. Go check it out, guys.
There you go. There you go. And as for me, of course, tomorrow's Sunday, which means that it's time for a new episode of Redneck Sunday.
Redneck Trek.
That's right. That's right. And this one, if I get it done, is probably going to be the most technically difficult one I've done since I've started. So yeah, go check that out. 5:30. It should premiere tomorrow at 5:30 p.m. So be on the lookout for that.
It's 5:30 Eastern, and that would be 10:30 British time.
Exactly. I did forget the EST part, but anyway, again, thanks everybody, and for sure be sure to check out the next episode of Redneck Trek, which will be Tuesday at 2:30 EST.
You mean Redneck Radio?
Redneck Radio, yeah, I got Redneck Trek on the brain. Check that out. Well, depending. If they do in Hangouts, we'll see where we go from there. But yeah, as far as I know, it'll be Tuesday at 2:30. But until then, as always, get out of my yard.
Bye, guys.